Greetings, greetings, greetings. We are here. Anu is back on the wall. Today is Wednesday, folks. I hope all you tune in and ready and set for we to go, go, go. So the topic of today is
poisoning the soul and finding that inner strength.
okay. So what about poisoning the soul?
Right. Poisoning the soul is a term that I'm using that describes the way how we as a people, how we see ourselves.
Right.
How subconsciously when we think that we are blessing ourselves, the truth of the matter, we are really cursing ourselves. You know, hence the reason why at times when we try to progress into something, we only reach thus far and we stop. You know, that is because the way how we process and the way how we see things, and make it even worse, the words that we use. Which becomes our poison, you know. And by we using subconsciously, by we using these words, we automatically cripples or stun our growth. You know, we continuously, you know, use terms that have a weak penetration. You know, we continue to say things. Now, it's not that we just developed that technique or that style just like that. It have been handed down to us from since the inception of colonialism. Right? It has been handed down to us from since they start to introduce to us our discipline on how to serve God. Right? You know, they'll tell us, you know, even let us before we serve go on that spiritual field, you know, let us look at it at a different point of view. Right? Because we, you know, we have told even extensively, we're talking about the Caribbean, right? The Caribbean at large. You know, we were often, or it was often put into our head that the Caribbean, we are third world country. Right? So from since King Hatchet was a chisel to this present time and hour, we were always told that, hey, this country or the Caribbean is a third world country. We are not considered to be a first world. And just by telling us or saying these things, we operate in this manner. We operate like if we weak. You know, we operate like we don't have that level of security in us. You know, when we go and we apply for a job and we get through with this job and these things, you know, they deal with us and they portray this image to us that we are inferior to the bosses and the managers and even some of the supervisors. So, you know, it creates this psychological impact on us, right? Even as you know, with the Caribbean, how they tell us that, you know, so we know our leaders, whoever it is, you know, whether it be prime minister or president or whoever it is, we operate under that capacity of being insubordinate, of being weak, you know, of being inferior. So you would find now, because we have a tendency of believing that our manifestation would be of such, right? And these is the things that they would do, or these are the things that they have done to keep us at this submissive level that we are. Make us feel that we are not good, make us feel that we are weak, you know, and make us feel that we continuously have to be striving to prove ourselves to man. So, you know, there's always a challenge, so, you know, psychological, and then what they do now to help destroy that, they introduce competition, right? They introduce the separation technique, which is known as competition, right? So we would even see that and when it comes to things like election and all these things, you know, they turn it into a competition, you know, comparison. Look what I do, and I do this, you know, and we, as the, let me call ourselves the average man, you know, we are being trained to think in that manner. So instead of we come together with Unisom to get the best of our leaders or elders, whoever may stand to represent us at an authoritative level, we start to fight against one another. So therefore now, our goal and our objective that we are supposed to reach, or where we're supposed to be as a people, we are not there, right? Because, you know, they paint these pictures, and when they paint these verbal pictures, it becomes from a non-tangible, something that is not physical or you could hold, to becoming tangible, right? So by these things, you know, so you may start to work on a job, and you will see the boss, and because, you know, there is the boss, whether it be the manager, the supervisor, you know, automatically you start to bow to him and surrender to him and give him that power, that authoritative power over you. You know, so therefore, what have done there, we have demoralized ourselves, right? And we have also disfranchised, you know, ourselves from such. So, you know, when the way how they would speak to us, you know, it would appear that if we working there, that they are doing us a favor by having us working there, right? So we better be and listen what they're saying and do what they're saying, you know. So we had that mindset. So, you know, sometimes in a job you will find people, there's things that they know wrong, but yet they still continue to do it because, you know, their mindset is that, hey, if I make a noise, I will upset my boss, or I will be looking for a new job, and all these kind of things, right? And that is because we don't understand what our value and our worth are.
Also make them have a fear.
Yeah, right. So, you know, we develop this fear, right? So, and when you start to develop this fear, it allows you to become unassertive of who you are, and make you in a stage where you start to doubt, right? And doubting is the platform, right? Is the platform that plenty of us work on, right? Doubt is the food that are served to us, right? But, you know, today the menu wouldn't be doubt. They don't call the menu doubt. Doubt is just the raw materials. But, you know, there's insecurity. You know, the menu could be insecurity, right? The menu, menu could be not being assertive, right? The memory could be, you know, plenty things such as we say, you know, doubt. And when you start to eat this food, you know, one start to carry fear in his heart or her heart, right? So instead of we stand up with authority, you know, we stand up being submissive and waiting for direction, right? Now, it would have, if you're working on a job, it would have certain individuals that the bosses, what we call the bosses, which is the supervisor, managers, or whoever, they would not go wrong with any stupidness. And this happens because that particular worker, he knows his worth.
Right.
He understands his value.
True.
Right? Now, I'm not, you know, and when I say worth and value, these are things that we take for granted. Right? And as I say, you know, on jobs, we think that they are doing us a favor, but there isn't any favor being done directly from any parties, whether it's the employer or the employees. Yeah? It's just a form of bartering. For my labor, I give you my labor and you are exchanging me with a salary or a wage. And that's it. So when people now who understands and know their value and knows their worth, you would find the way how they would speak to bosses and the way how they would carry about themselves on a job, they demand a particular level of respect.
It all boils back to respect from last.
Yeah, so it boils down to
right?
respect because they demand this level of respect.
True.
And that is simply because they are not ignorant to the fact that who they really are. Right? So you know, it creates a psychological impact. So therefore, when I hear we are told things that these things that also create a psychological impact, that we are not perfect. Right? This is one of the things that colonialism taught us. Right? That we are not perfect. Right? That we sin and we fall short from the glory of God. Right? And you know, and these are the things. So when they keep putting these things in my head, you know, we going about with these kind of thought, you know, and then we start to use examples and things to cover our shortcoming, our weaknesses. Boy, we are just human. All of we is human, but we is man, we go make mistakes. Right? But by we are being told that we are not perfect, that you know, we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity, and we are told these things, right? It creates a psychological impact on us. Because if, for example, if we go into church and we start to go to church and we miss church, you know, for those who goes to church, they miss church a couple of days. You know, this is what we were told. You're falling back. You're falling back, boy, you're falling back. You're going back on that road and all these kind of things. So, you know, so this would be, you know, oh God, if you say, how come I see you? You know, the remarks would be, boy, oh gosh, I know I'm falling back, you know, and I know I'm starting to play the fool how I'm going to church. You know, so by them telling you that, you know, starting to believe that. Right? So it creates that level of insecurity. So all of this where the poisoning of the soul comes in. right? Because they're telling you that now to have you in this discipline, right? Thinking that you are not good enough, you know, and according to reading, you know, especially from the Bible, when God said, let us make man, man was made, and he came down and he examined man. He found nothing was wrong with the body, the physical aspect of man. So in his judgment, he said, it is good, right? And only then he breathes the breath of life into man.
True.
Hence the reason why mankind, that is why we are different from animals. You know, that will make us different, because we are not just breathing oxygen in and out. You know, we are breathing the breath of life, you know, that dwells in us. Yeah. So, you know, so this is what we are taught, right? But how could we not be perfect if majority of the people in the world that are born have 2 eyes, 2 noses, 2 ears, a mouth, 2 hands, and their body functioning as we know human body supposed to function, right? Where is the imperfection in that?
Point.
Right? So now there are people who have ways that may not be acceptable or pleasing to you and I. Quite agree.
True.
Right? But these particular individual that carry these ways, that even you and I, that is what make us who we are. That is that is our characters, which we can be easily identified by. Right? For example, I may say to you, remember John when we went by the river? You remember John, we went by the river and we was liming and we was cooking. He's saying, John? Who John? Oh gosh, you know John, the one who come and he only spitting. You know, or the one who come and talking loud. Or the one who come and he was drunk. Oh! And he had on the green jersey and he drunk, falling down all over the place. You know? So these now is what make us unique. And this is one of the things that we can be identified by. Not only by our name, not only by our DNA, you know, not only by facial or body, but also from our character, right? Our behavior. So, you know, it's not that is imperfection, but what it does is just makes you and I what makes us unique in comparison, or different in comparison to others, right? Now, if one wishes to improve, you know, or to adopt a styling that is more appreciative when he among peers, then the onus lies on this particular individual. But it doesn't make you any lesser or any inferior than anybody, right? So, you know, so when they keep starting to tell you these things, you know, one, they give people excuse to be in a particular manner because that is how they see themselves, And 2, it makes another one not sure or not certain where he or she is stand. Right. So, so all of this, is what is tools that we use to poison the soul. Hence the reason why some of us, we are stagnant. And if you're not going forward and you're not going obvious backwards and you're just staying right there, you are stagnant, and it comes like you are still going backwards because there is no growth.
True.
Right? So, so by telling us this, so, you're hearing our parents putting this in our head, you're hearing pastors and these people talking these things, so they paint this whole image about who you are and where you stand. So, therefore, you have started at a negative, right? And then after that now, in doing so, when you're starting this negative, you will start now to continuously shoot yourself in the leg by speaking words of weakness, and words of doubt. So yet when you think you're praising yourself, because of the word that you utter, you're really poisoning the soul.
Right.
Right? So for example, you would say, one of the favorite quotes, today is your birthday, and they would say to you, happy birthday,
I hope you see many.
I hope you have a happy day. And these kind of thing, I hope you have a happy day. I hope, you see that word hope? Hope is not assertive. It is not strong. So, even though they wishing your best, but they're not really wishing you, or not wishing or want the best for you, because of the terminologies that they use. Hope. So it's not I hope you have an enjoyable day. Happy birthday. Have an enjoyable day.
Right.
Right?
Speak
it into existence.
True.
So sometimes you'll hear someone say to you, I want to try and finish school. I want to try and finish wash. Or I want to try and finish do this. I want to try, another poison to the soul. Right? Because from the time you start to use these negative terms to make a positive contribution, you start to poison, because you see, when you use the term try, you're therefore unconsciously leaving room for disappointment. Right? When you use term as maybe, and one of the best words we like to use, I believe. So when you use all these terms, these is words of doubt. And when we continue telling ourselves these terms, we continuing to poison our soul. So when we use, for example, we would say, you believe in God? I do enjoy when people ask me this question. Or when they start to talk, I will be like, what? I don't not believe in God. Right? I do not believe in God. And when they hear me use that term, you don't believe in God, their face expression is priceless. Right? And the truth of the matter is, I do not believe in God. Right? The amount of time that I have a relationship and that I have dealt with God, right? And the things that he has done for me, and where he has taken me, and where he has brought me, my time for believing is no more.
True.
Right? Because to believe is to doubt. Right? To use maybe and to use hope and if and all these terms is to doubt. So when we use these terms, we continuously poisoning our soul. I don't believe in God. I know, you hear the authority? I know that there is a God. That when I call upon God, right, all him and all his angels and everything that encamp around me, you know, they would answer. I not believe in that. I not doubting that. If I ask you, do you believe you're a woman? Or do you believe you're a man? You know, one would say, no, me believe I is a woman. I know I is a woman.
Speak with authority.
Because that is authority. But when you start to believe, you leave room or you leave space for doubt to step in. Because you're not sure. You're not too sure
where you is.
What you are. You know, you believe in it, but you're not sure.
Right.
Right? So when I hear we talking about, when I hear they saying, yeah, I'm gonna try and build this house. You know, we poisoning. So so now we're wondering why it is we are moving so slow. And when we start to use the term try and we bounce up into obstacles and these kind of thing, you know what we do? We quit. And then we would say something like, well, by a try. You know? So, you know, all these terms, these words, you know, when I say poisoning your soul, you know, we eat contaminated food and we may drink contaminated water, right? And it poisons our physical body. Right? We watch movies or we read certain books, and you know what it does? It can poison our brain, right? Sometimes you might have you might be enthusiastic to do something. You know, you want to do this, and then you meet a friend with a negative vibration, and that person come and poison your spirit.
True.
Right? And then now when the words that we speak, that we assume that is a blessing,
It's actually a curse.
we actually cursing ourselves. So what we are doing now, we are poisoning our soul.
Food for thought, eh?
So now, when we speak, there are certain terms when it comes to our positive or someone's positive progress. There are wording that we need to eliminate, right? Wording such as hope, such as I will try, I will believe, and all these negative these terms. Now, if you want to use the term believe, right? You could say, according to the report that the weatherman gave last night, you know, I believe it go rain, because there is no certainty if it go rain. And when I say I believe it go rain, I'm talking about in the area that you are in, right? So, you know, that is, you know, you can use believe in terms like that. But when it comes to your positive growth, or somebody positive growth, or you're wishing somebody blessings, or you're bestowing blessings on somebody, you know, don't help poison their soul. You know, nurture it. Positive vibration. So now that because we do it all the time, and that is how we were trained, right? We were trained to try. You know, we were trained to try. But I want to tell you, right? Let us stop trying. Let us stop trying. Let us stop believing. Let us, in instance, I'm not going to try to cut down the tree. I'm not going to try to paint the house. I'm not going to try to finish an exam, a course, or anything like that. I am going to do it.
Speak it.
And do it until I get it done.
Speak it.
So therefore now, if you look, you know you have an appointment. Let me say you have an appointment and you had to meet somebody and you went a couple of times to try to meet this person and you never, or try to get this problem solved. But every time you go, they shutting you and they're pushing you aside. And one morning you get up and this is you. You see me, I'm going down to this office, or I'm going to see who and who is there, and I am not leaving until I see somebody. Right? And when you leave home with that energy, 99.9% of the time, you get through. You get some results to give you that level of satisfaction. Right? And so, you know, if you try it, and there are plenty of us who have tried it before, we would see that different energy or different vibration taking place. Right? So, you know, so with that, so, you know, once we give our thoughts, and there's a negative thought, you know, we need to stop and re-examine. You know, so things like these thoughts that they would hear friends and family would say, oh gosh, you know, long me and see you, I thought you dead. Right? They related to dead. So, you know, one time that they put an umbrella over you. Right? And when we talk about death, it don't necessarily have to mean the physical death, where your energy leave your mortal body. You know, but you are dead could be anything you're trying. They thought it was dead, that nothing is happening again. Right? So, you know, and this is something that we are accustomed saying, especially people in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, you will never hear, or very rare, or you will only hear it from those that who have reached and understand the power of words. They would hear them say, I haven't seen you in a long while. I thought you leave the country or you migrate. You know? So you know, the people that we meet and the people that we interact, right? You know, and we using these words, we are feeding ourselves these negative terms and entertaining this energy or this spirit called doubt. Right? It poisoning our soul. And once our soul are poisoned, that's it for the rest of everything. Right? And to support my statement, you would have a drive. You would have a passion to do something. Right? And you would have the mindset to say, well, you see me? I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. Not I would, not I should, but I will do this. And people will try to discourage you, try to break you down, you know, but once your soul remains intact, everything's become a waste of time. Because it's easy now for your strength of your soul to regenerate your spirit and to regenerate your physical body. You understand what I'm saying? So the more we start to speak positive vibration about our progress out in the element, as the more stronger we become. Right? And now when you start to speak that word of positiveness into your progress, you would find now that people you're interacting with, once they hear they start to talk doubt, you would start to draw it to their attention, right? And if they keep continuously speaking like that, well, I hope you're this and I hope you're that, and I keep telling them about that, you would eventually find yourself now slightly moving away. And not because you're better than, but because both of you will therefore stand on two different pages, right? You know, oftentimes you'll hear our elders saying, the more you're around positive people and positive vibration is the faster one goes, right? So you know, so we ought to be careful in the things that we say. We ought to be careful of the things that we hear, and we ought to be careful of the things that we do, because these things now it poisons our soul, right? It stuns us, right? If we continuously believing that we are weak and that we are inferior and that we are no good and that we are imperfect, that is the manifestation we are going to display, right? And if we don't understand that what they're calling, what society calling imperfection is just what you have to make you unique, to stand aside from the rest. And oftentimes we had a problem. You know, oftentimes, you know, you come across people and the way they speak and the way how they carry about themselves and all these kind of thing, you know, because you haven't reached that stage of understanding, you haven't reached that stage of maturity. These people would come across to you at times very cocky and very proud, you know, but there's a difference within that, right? And this is where we're talking about. So now we understand, you know, the poisoning of the soul, you know, things that we do to poison the soul, to stun our growth, right? To cause us to delay to moving from one stage to the another without grasping any knowledge, right? And the reason why I say without grasping any knowledge, there are times you would speak positive vibration and you would talk positive vibration into existence, but the pathway that line out for you to go, it would be, or it may be for you a little longer than Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? But it doesn't mean that you give up or you're not getting through. It just means that the teachings that you are about to acquire there, it will be grand, right? So once the more we think positive vibration, and the more, and when I say positive vibration, it's simple words that does cramp us, because you will be thinking positive, that I want to do something, but you use this one word, I'm gonna try and do, or I believe I can do, or I hope I can do, or maybe, or most likely. You know, these little snippets is what poison. It will be nothing big or elaborate, you know, these things. And the more we start to say it, the more we start to talk about it, is the more physical it becomes in our life. And we start to accept that we are nothing more than failures. Right? And this is what they try, and I use the term try because they're still doing it. This is what they try to embed in us, to look at ourselves as less than who we are. Right? This is what they're doing. This is hence the reason why when it have a lot of public speakers, you know, and they're pushing the level of consciousness into people, that is why you would find them being assassinated. You would find attempts on their life, you know, because they are not going according to what it's supposed to be. You know, so when we are speaking, you know, and we are talking to friends, or we are speaking about ourselves to do something, we need to eliminate these words, because these words are the poison to our soul that kills us. You know, these negative terms. You know, so as I said before, if you think, when you talk sometimes and you believe that you are doing a positive, the truth of the matter is, you know, it is more harm than good. You know, and therefore it makes your life and situation even tougher, right? Because it gives you an alternative. Well, if I ain't finish it or I ain't make it, I could just stop
and give up.
And you give up. You know, so when people see you, or you see people, you go say, well, I was doing so and so, and by gosh, it was hard, boy, but I try my best. But your best, it wasn't good enough, right? And you know, so we start to fail before we even start. You know, we start to fail before we even make that first shredder. Why? Because in this gunfight that we fighting, we take our gun and we shoot with foot, bow, and we shoot it again, bow, and we shoot it again, bow, so we can run in the race properly. You know, we limp over. If you listen to millionaires speak, you know, they speak positive vibration into existence. I am going to take over this company. I am going to do this. I will. You know, they would not entertain I think I'm going to do this. No. You know, because they understand the importance of not contaminating or poisoning their soul. You know, that being said, you know, there's a way now that we can evolve this poison. There's an antidote in which we can take to eliminate this poison, right? By one, seeing and understanding that you are the I am that I am. And there's a great secret in that term, I am. From the time I hear somebody start to speak in that paraphrasing by saying I am, that person automatically begin to manifest authority, right? And when that person starts to manifest authority by using just the simple term I am, right, he starts to give his or herself that inner strength. The soul starts to feed on that positive vibration. Sometimes we get so contaminated in doubt and insecurity that our manifestation itself displays that negative energy. You know, you're going to a gathering, and you know the way you walk into the gathering, you know your body tells, right? Your body shows. You know, when you do the comparison and look at somebody who have that authority, when he walks into a meeting, you know, his energy, it consumes the meeting. You know, whatever going on, it will be going on, but people will start to look and they will watch. Even so if you go in a gathering or wherever you go, from the time you enter, because of your vibration, you know, because of your authoritative stand, it starts to consume, you know. And so from the time people see you, you would be identified either an alpha or omega, right? You'll be identified either a father or a mother, you know. You will be identified as such. you know, without trying to draw attention on yourself. Because there are people, you have a gathering, they will come in flashy, rare jewel, and they moving and cling, 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 and you know, and they singing and they talking loud and thing, you know, to draw attention, you know, which can be described as well as a form of insecurity, you know. But there are people who walk, as they walk or enter into a gathering, nothing may not stop while this person enter, but what is going to happen is people, it will start to draw the attention of people. You start to consume, and one time people will acknowledge, you know, people will start to admire your authoritative stand and the power that you manifest. Right? But it needs to come even deeper than that, because how one sees his or herself is how one manifests his or herself. Right? And I'm not speaking about sometimes, even like myself, you know, or other people, we would not view ourselves as nothing superb, right? We understand that we possess a certain quality. You know, we understand that we possess a particular knowledge or skill, and we are extremely, or there are people who are extremely normal with it. You know, they're not trying to but they are not, there's not that they don't know their strength, they don't know their worth, but it's about they understand who they are, and they just see themselves as equal as any other man.
The confidence level is extremely high to brighten up a room enough to walk in.
Precisely. So first we need to claim back our authority, right? So we need the way how our posture, how we posture our body, you know, the way how we interact with people. Hence the reason why they would tell you, when you're speaking to somebody, you look at them in their eyes, you know. So this, you know, so you tell them that you'll have to look at them in their eyes and deal or when you're having a conversation and thing with these people, you know, you look at them in their eyes, you know, and you stand up with your chest up, forward, you know, your shoulders slightly back, you know, because you're demanding that authority, you know, you're demanding that assertiveness, you're demanding that respect without even asking for it, without even trying to bully someone's faith. You know, you start to show that. So you know, so it starts from there, right? Then now you ought to start to think about yourself as equal as the Prime Minister, the President, the Pope, the Pastor, the Imam, the whoever. You start to see yourself as equal, you know, meaning that you are a man and I am a man. You are a woman and I am a woman. And you are not better than me and neither am I better than you. Right? And what you're starting to do there now, you're starting to detoxify yourself. You're starting to purge yourself. You're starting to clean yourself. Right? Then when you start to see people as equal, right? It would support your body movement, right? It would support your physical structuring, right? And then the more inner strength comes in now when you start to exercise positive vibration, where there is progress for you and for people that are wrong. You know, you start to talk, when you start to talk things into existence, right? These are things that we were once thought. These are things that was given to us, you know, but it have been taken away from us, or it have been replaced to make us look at ourselves less than who we really are.
True.
Right? So the strength comes by, you know, we need to change our physical posture. We need to see ourselves as equal to any and every man or mankind. Because I don't want the ladies and them to shoot me down. You just only talk about man, what about woman? When I use the term man, you know, mankind, right? I'm including male, or don't let me say male, I'm included woman, and I'm included man, right? You know, and this is where strength comes in. This is where is woman. So once you start to manifest these three things, progress is going to come, right? Don't care what obstacle you face, you are going to conquer it, because you have spoken that energy and you put it out there in the elements. And once you do that in the element, this is the vibration that you would start to attract. Not trying to finish it, I am going to finish it. If it take you 80 years and you're alive, and it take you 80 years to get it done, you have to get it done. So automatically you have eliminate all the negative attachment to it. You know, it started to get weak, because without a doubt, without any form of uncertainty, your mind, your spirit, you know, or your body, your soul and your spirit, it therefore now stands in one accord. So when you start to move, you start to move with authority, and as there is the beginning of your progress. It's the beginning of your growth. It's the beginning of your strength. You know, I love to say, you know. You know! Huh. So, that being said, you know, I would love to use this opportunity to extend more continuous gratitude. You know, thank you all. I'm asking you all to break down all the negative energy and vibration, because it'll start with the word and that mind, and it has built this block, this tangible blockage that cramping and destroy us slowly but surely, be poisoning to the soul. So, you know, we have to detoxify, right? You know, thinking and seeing ourselves as equal. We have to restructure our mannerism, the way how we stand, and our posture, and how we walk, and how we talk to people, and how we speak. Now, listen to me carefully. When I say the way how we talk to people and the way we speak to people, do not misconstrue talking to someone like a pig, or speaking to people rough or arrogantly, meaning you're gaining your authority. You know, it had a time where I was working. You know, I now start to work there, and you know, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 to quarters past 7 was breakfast, and I used to come back like 20 past 7, 25 past 7. So a day now, the supervisor, a very calm, humble man, he calls me into the call room, into the office, and he said to me very calmly, very polite, if people outside and they see both of us there and they realize we're having a conversation, they would never believe what he said to me. Very simple. And he was like, Mr. Olufemi, breakfast is from 7 to quarter past 7. So when it's quarter past 7, I want to see you on the job site. Come up here first, and then if you have to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom, you know, and you know, I look at him, and it was said so solemn, you know, he didn't have to try to prove anything with me, but the authority was felt. He was the only man in my company who have ever intimidated me the way how he did. And it wasn't done in no form of aggression. So I'm saying this to say to you that, you know, not say to you, you know, the way you speak. I'm not talking about, hey, you, come here. So everybody could know that you are who you're
Claim to me.
applying to be. You know, but in your assertiveness, your power, you know, is where it's going to show. So, you know, once we start to claim back these things, you will find out our direction is going to change. Our spiritual relationship now is going to change, because now we are becoming even more conscious of who and what we are. You know, so when we operating now, we operating with that authoritative figure. So I want you all to remember these things. You know, let us stop speak, maybe, believe, you know, speak those terms of doubt and weakness when it comes to our positive progress. So, you know, thank you again. Continue to listen wherever to you find that it is applicable. You may do so. You know, think about it, and you may do so. You know, and be good. So, thank you again. I can't stop telling you all thanks. So, as we come to the closing of today's session, I know that it's good food for thought. I know that
Yes.
you would enjoy it, and you should enjoy it once you apply yourself. So, let us bid you until next time. I'll be on the wall, so don't forget to
Follow, like, and share. Be safe.